One of the most common mistakes people make on the keto diet is that they go overboard with the keto desserts. Just because it's keto doesn't mean that you can shovel in as much as you want. It's still loaded with calories, still loaded with fat, and sometimes those carbs can add up too. So my solution to that is to make portion-controlled keto desserts. And today I'm going to show you how to make 5 different keto cookies using one base recipe. Let's get going. So I've actually showed you guys how to make a portion-controlled single-serve chocolate chip cookie. It's a keto chocolate chip cookie. If you guys haven't seen that video, just click up here so you could watch it. But there are actually a bunch of different other types of keto cookies that you can make just using this base recipe. So if you wanted to add nuts to it, you could. You could make a white chocolate macadamia nut cookie, which I'll show you how to make. You could make a filled creamy cookie, peanut butter. The possibilities are really endless. So I'm going to show you 5 different recipes today. So first, let's start with that basic keto chocolate chip cookie. In a small bowl, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of almond flour, 1 teaspoon of coconut flour, 2 teaspoons of sweetener. I'm going to be using a monk fruit blend sweetener, but you could use whatever sweetener you want as long as it measures cup for cup. 1 tablespoon of unsalted softened butter, a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla, a pinch of salt, and then a tablespoon of your favorite keto chocolate chips. I'll have my favorite listed down below for you guys and a code where you can save 10% off your order. Then we're just gonna mix this together with a fork until it's combined. You do wanna use a fork because you kind of have to cut that butter into the rest of the ingredients. It's a lot easier if you do it that way. And then you just mold it into a ball, put it down on a piece of parchment paper and press it down into a cookie shape. Now I'm going to microwave mine just because it's easier that way. You want to microwave it at around 70% power for about a minute and a half. I'll have instructions down below on how you guys can bake these if you didn't want to use a microwave. You can bake them in an oven, 350 degrees, for around 6 to 10 minutes. Just cook them until they start to get brown along the edges. And that's your easy keto chocolate chip cookie for one person. And the cool thing is that we didn't use any eggs either. So if you have an egg allergy or you don't like eggs, then you don't have to use it in this recipe. Super simple. Before we move on to our next cookie recipe, I want to take the time to thank our sponsor today of this video, which is Golden Ratio. I've talked about them before. They are a coffee company that drinks like a tea. So it's coffee in a tea bag. The benefit of using Golden Ratio coffees, besides the fact that they're delicious, they're less acidic than regular coffee. So if that's something that you're looking for, if you just can't drink regular coffee anymore because it hurts your stomach, you should really try Golden Ratio. It has a smooth, rich flavor. There's 0 grams of sugar and it drinks like a tea. You add your tea bag to your cup, pour in your hot water, give it a good tug, and then let it sit for around 5 minutes. I like to add some cream to mine just to make it like this little creamy treat. I usually drink it in the afternoon when I need just a slight pick-me-up, but I don't want to make like a full batch of coffee. If you guys are interested in Golden Ratio and want to learn more about them, click down below. I'll have the full information in the description box. Up next, let's make a keto peanut butter cookie. So we're going to be using the same base recipe that we used to make the keto chocolate chip cookie to make these peanut butter cookies, or cookie because it's one cookie. So we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of almond flour, 2 teaspoons of coconut flour. We are adding an extra teaspoon of coconut flour just because of that. Peanut butter does provide a little bit of liquid and I don't want it to be too liquidy. A tablespoon of peanut butter. And if you didn't want to use peanut butter, you could use whatever nut butter you wanted, almond butter, cashew butter, macadamia nut butter. 2 teaspoons of sweetener. Once again, I'm using a monk fruit blend. Just a 1/2 tablespoon of unsalted softened butter, and then a pinch of salt. Mix this together and roll it into a ball, but before you flatten it down, we're going to put it onto a piece of parchment paper, take a fork and flatten it down with your fork, doing that crisscross classic peanut butter cookie pattern. Once again, I'm going to microwave this. I'm going to microwave this at, you could do 70% power for around a minute to a minute and a half. Up next, let's make a keto white chocolate macadamia nut cookie. So once again, add in 2 tablespoons of almond flour, 1 teaspoon of coconut flour, 2 teaspoons of monk fruit blend sweetener, a tablespoon of butter that's softened, a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla, a pinch of salt, around a tablespoon of chopped up macadamia nuts, and then around a tablespoon of sugar-free white chocolate baking chips. And I'll have my favorite listed down below for you guys. Mix this together with a fork until it's combined. Roll it into a ball, smash it down on some parchment paper, and then again, bake this in the microwave at 70% power for around a minute and a half. Next up, let's make one of my favorite cookies, which is a double chocolate cookie. Now this cookie, you have the option of either using chocolate chips or white chocolate chips, or you could do peanut butter chips too. I went with the white chocolate chips just because that's my favorite cookie and I like the look of it too. So in a small bowl, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of almond flour, 1 teaspoon of coconut flour, 2.5 teaspoons of monk fruit blend sweetener. I am adding in a slight bit more sweetener here just because the cocoa powder that we're gonna add is gonna add a little bit of bitterness to there. 1 teaspoon of 100% unsweetened cocoa powder, 1 tablespoon of softened butter, a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla, a pinch of salt, and then 1 tablespoon of white chocolate sugar-free chocolate chips. Mix this together with your fork, mold it into a ball, and smash it down on some parchment paper. Pop it in the microwave. Now it's time to make a creamy filled cookie. This is going to be a chocolate chip cookie with a creamy chocolate hazelnut center. So for this recipe, we're gonna be using that same recipe we used to make that keto chocolate chip cookie. So add in 2 tablespoons of almond flour, 1 teaspoon of coconut flour, 2 teaspoons of monk fruit blend sweetener, 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter, a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla, a pinch of salt, and then 1 tablespoon of sugar-free chocolate chips. Mix this together with your fork until it's combined. And now this part, we're actually going to pinch off 2 small equal-sized balls. One of those balls you want to flatten down and kind of depress the center. This will make a little cavity to put our filling in. For our filling, I'm going to be using a sugar-free chocolate hazelnut spread. I'll have it listed down below on what kind I used and where I got it. You just need around 1/2 teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of this filling, and then take that second ball, flatten it down, put it on top of your filling, and then seal the edges together. We're going to put this in the microwave at 70% power for around a minute and a half. This cookie comes out super creamy and delicious inside, especially when you pull it apart. I highly recommend this one. And once again, don't forget you guys, you can bake all of these cookies in the oven. You could even air fry them too if you have an air fryer. I love these portion controlled cookies. They are a great way to satisfy any craving that you have for cookies without breaking your diet.